It's a Saturday morning, and you're waiting in line for almost 2 hours to check out this popular bakery that's been all the rage. You almost bailed a few times. The sun's making you sleepy. You can hear the people ahead complaining every now and then, and even your phone has spotty service. But finally, you get to the counter, and the barista hands you a warm cranberry scone with a smile. They even slip you an extra small container of house-made butter and say, "Thanks for waiting. This pairs perfectly with the scone." Before you leave, they give you a card with a hand-drawn picture of the bakery on it, and on the back it says, "Book ahead on our app next time to skip the line." Later that night, when you tell your friend about it, you don't mention the annoying wait. You talk about how good the scone smelled and how nice the staff was. Thought that was just a random quirk of memory? Turns out, it's all thanks to a psychological rule that shapes how we perceive experiences, the peak end rule. The peak end rule was created by Nobel Prize-winning economist Daniel Kahneman. When he studied how humans remember experiences, he found something interesting. We don't judge an experience by its average feeling, or even all the little details added up. Instead, two key moments define our opinion. The peak, the most intense part of the experience, whether it's super good or really bad, and the end, how we feel when the experience is over. Think about a trip you took. You might not remember what you had for breakfast each day, or how long you drove, but you'll clearly recall the sunrise you saw from the mountain top. That's the peak. And the little gift the Airbnb host gave you when you left. That's the end. Or a time you had surgery. You might forget how tedious the pre-op checks were, but you'll remember the nervousness when the anesthesia kicked in, a negative peak, and the note the nurse wrote with post-op tips before you went home, the end. Psychologically speaking, the peak end rule is really just how our brains simplify memories. Our brains process so much information every day, they can't record every second of an experience like a video. Instead, they act like a file organizer. They keep the moments that hit us emotionally, the peaks, and the moments that signal the experience is done, the ends. These 2 points are like anchors for our memories, and they're what we use to piece together how we felt about the whole thing. The cool, or weird part. A bad peak doesn't have to ruin everything. If the end of the experience is positive enough, our brains will actually downplay that bad peak. But if the end is terrible, even if most of the experience was great, it can totally tank how we feel about the whole thing. This rule is everywhere in the service industry. You just might not notice it. Take this fancy boutique hotel with locations in cities around the world. They've nailed the peak end rule. Sometimes guests run into a little hiccup, like showing up and finding out their room's still being cleaned, so they have to wait 30 minutes in the lobby. But the hotel handles it smartly. While you wait, staff bring you house-made herbal tea and a local newspaper, and they'll even tell you about cool cafes or parks nearby, turning the wait into a little preview of the area. Then, when you check out, that's the end moment. The front desk hands you a wrapped city souvenir pack. Inside, there are coupons for local indie bookstores, a canvas tote bag with the hotel's logo, and a handwritten thank you note. The note even mentions little details from your stay, like, "Hope you loved the buckwheat pillow we had set up for you." When guests write reviews later, they barely mention waiting for their room. Instead, they gush about the little surprise at checkout. Some even become regulars just because of that end experience. The psychology here makes sense. The hotel doesn't try to hide the wait, which is just a neutral part of the day. Instead, they make the end feel special. So that's the memory that sticks, and it makes the whole stay seem better. The medical field uses the peak end rule too, and it's all about making care feel more human. Take some neighborhood pediatric dental offices. They've drastically cut down on that fear of the dentist that parents hate. The trick? They optimize both the peak and the end. For kids, the peak of a dentist visit is usually the discomfort, like the vibration or soreness when getting a filling. To soften that bad peak, doctors play a role-play game with kids first. They use toy dental tools to check a teddy bear's teeth and say, "The bear says it tickles a little, but if he holds on, he gets a reward." During the procedure, the nurse holds the kid's hand the whole time and plays their favorite cartoon, distracting them so the discomfort feels smaller. Then, the end is designed to feel like a win. After the visit, the kid gets a brave little dentist certificate with the doctor's signature and a stamp. They also get to pick a cartoon sticker or a small toy from a prize box. And the kid knows about this prize beforehand. That turns the end into a happy moment of getting a reward. This uses something psychologists call positive reinforcement theory. The good end doesn't just cancel out the tiny bit of discomfort during the visit. It also builds a connection in kids' memories that going to the dentist equals getting a reward. Next time you schedule an appointment, their resistance is way lower. In marketing, the peak end rule is used to make customers want to share their experience. Take this online brand that sells natural skincare products. They once had shipping delays because of bad weather. Some customers waited 5 days instead of the usual 3, and a lot of them complained to customer service. But the brand didn't just say sorry. They fixed the memory by making the end experience great. Inside each delayed package, they added a little bonus pack. 2 samples of their best-selling products, plus a note that looked like it was handwritten by customer service. The note explained the delay and said, "Use this 20% off coupon on your next order to make up for it." Even cooler? The unboxing was thought out. The outside was colorful, biodegradable wrapping paper, and inside there was a skincare tip card. The card had personalized advice based on what the customer bought, like, "This moisturizer works best as an overnight mask, especially with the serum you picked." After getting the package, most customers forgot they were mad. Some even posted about the unboxing surprise on social media, saying things like, "The shipping was slow, but the packaging and free stuff made up for it." Psychologically, here's why this works. The delayed shipping is just a little flaw in the process. But the end, with the personalized apology and extra perks, makes customers feel seen. That good feeling covers up the frustration, and it even makes them want to share the experience with others. Let's be real. People love telling their friends about nice surprises. Restaurants use the peak end rule too, and they focus on making the last bite memorable. Take this restaurant that serves creative food. Not every dish on the menu is amazing, but almost every customer remembers the last dessert. That dessert isn't even on the menu. It's something the chef whips up on the spot, based on what's fresh that day and how the customer liked their meal. For example, if you ordered seafood, the dessert might be a lemon coconut mousse to cut through the richness. If you're there with a partner, it's a heart-shaped dessert with 2 glasses of non-alcoholic sparkling wine. The best part? When the dessert comes out, the server says something like, "This is mango mousse. We got the mangoes this morning. Hope it wraps up your meal perfectly." This works because of what's called the lag in taste memory. Our brains don't hold on to taste memories for long, but adding that this was made just for you feel and a little ceremony makes it stick. When customers talk about the restaurant later, they'll say things like, "I can't remember all the dishes, but that last dessert was amazing." Some even come back just to try whatever the chef makes for dessert next time. The smart thing here? The restaurant doesn't try to make every dish perfect, which is basically impossible in real life. Instead, they focus on making the end, with both great taste and a personal touch, something customers will remember. That way, the memory of the meal is a happy one. The peak end rule isn't about tricking your memory. It's a reminder that when we design experiences, we don't need perfection from start to finish. Let's be honest. Every experience has boring parts or little problems. What matters is finding those key anchor points and making them count with small, thoughtful touches. Whether it's a surprise at checkout, a little prize for a kid at the dentist, or a custom dessert at a restaurant, all of these are ways to respect how our brains work. At the end of the day, we don't remember every little detail of an experience. We remember the moments that make us feel seen, understood, and cared for. That's the real logic behind the peak end rule. And it's why it works, no matter what kind of experience we're talking about.